got the juice, I play for hours. Coldest thing running, unlimited power. Doing my thing.
You know what? I can't even be mad that we lost. Because I've been saying for pretty much the whole season that this team just felt off, felt weird when talking about the Laces. And the fact that we didn't really have a true traditional big. I don't even want to say traditional big, just somebody besides Alyssa Thomas. Like every other team could run a double big, but we had issues running it. Now, let's not get away from the fact that, we were right there with them for most of the game. So I would be saying something different if, say, Brittany Sykes went off for 45 or something like that. But my biggest thing was always going to be the lack of a true big. And when you look at that and you look at Dearica Hamby going 11 for 14, a lot of what Ryan had, you just can't really do much about. I do believe they could have guarded her better when she started getting hot. I think you need to get into a person and force them to drive over letting them hit so many threes, especially someone who is such a specialist when it comes to hitting threes as Ryan is. Ryan can score from anywhere on the court. I've said this forever. I wish she would do it more, but when she goes ballistic from three, she goes crazy. And the fact that there wasn't more fight over the screens, or even if you had to, because this is my thing when it comes to screens, players, they, especially in Unrivaled, they are switching on the screens, and so it's always going to be the big. It has the mismatch, you post up and you go. That would have been those few times where I'd have been okay with the mismatch with the bigs, because then you're subtracting one every possession. You're just having whoever switch jump up and they're on Ryan and play her for the drive, so get up on her. But they weren't even doing that. So a lot of times when those switches happened, she just stayed on the outside of the pick and just pulled. And she was making some awesome shots. But yeah, there's sometimes just nothing you can do about that. And I want to know where Jackie Young has been all season. She's had some good games this season, but for the most part, it's been the Sykes show. And when you have to depend on Sykes, who, like I said about Arike as well, that these two are very streaky. They can shoot you in the games, they can shoot you out of games. And when she's not hitting and Jackie is hesitant and not, doing what she can to take over the game, we're just not going to win much by that, because we don't have these elite scorers coming off the bench. Canada can hit her shots in her spots. Maddie, when she's dialed in, she's a good ancillary piece as well. Same with Nas. But those are guys that you're not depending on to score like that. Like, it's not like the Miss where you have a starting three you got two people averaging 20 points a game, and then Veronica Burton with like 12, 13 points, and then Arike coming off the bench with 14, and then even Lana Smith, who's a threat from three and a defensive nightmare when it comes to matching up, depending on how the game flows and stuff like that. The Laces were just not built like that, and so again, I did not see them being a contender, but it is what it is. The vinyl, however, I have been wondering where this team has been the whole season. I've said it on threads. I've said it here in front of you guys in the camera, that I believe that the way the vinyl were built, they should have been better than this. Their record doesn't show how good they are. I've been looking for this team. Orion that is, scoring in the 20s, and Dearica Hamby not necessarily being the one you depend on, but she's still the one that, you need her to get, 15 to 20 points. And then BG being a mismatch in limited minutes, and Ray being Ray. I think, like I said, I want Ray to level up and to hit the stride that we're all waiting for her to hit, because again, she's long, she's quick, she's athletic, she can hit shots. I don't know who she needs to get with, but that's a star waiting to happen. I said the same thing about Azure. She's built very long, and Players like this could be such a mismatch issue problem. Just how they play, it's crazy that they don't get enough of a leash to be those players, and they don't lock in as much as they could, or at least doesn't look like from my side. I don't know what they put in the workouts. I don't know what the coach wants them to do in the game plan per se, besides what I can see and look in the numbers and tell. But I need Ray to jump real big, not just for Unrivaled, but for the season coming forward whenever we do have that for the W. Now for the Breeze versus the Rose, or Breeze versus Rose. I'm sorry, everybody's been saying you don't use the when you talk about these teams. Paige wasn't going to let them go down. She wasn't going to let them go down like that. The whole team played well. Everybody was, what do you say about them? Everybody was dialed in. Everybody was hitting shots. The momentum swung in the first quarter, and they never let it go. And the Rose just couldn't keep up with it. I didn't actually look at the stats because I actually just got done watching them. It's like 12:46 right now. And I'm willing to bet it came down to what I said was going to be the killer for the Roses. When Chelsea Gray can't get off, they're going to lose. Chelsea Gray, 11 points, 5 for 18. Kylie Copper, 15, off 6 for 16. And then Angel, 10 points off 10 shots. Lexi Hull, 5 points, 2 for 4. And then Shakira, 2 for 8 with 6 points. Yeah, they weren't going to win that game. And I said it. I said, yeah, great. There's literally footage of me saying, great. You have Angel Reese. You still got to go out there and win. You still got to go out there and put it together. Because I said before, there is nobody else who can really pick up the scoring like you need it to. And you're not going to win on the back of Chelsea Gray. You just can't, especially not with the way some of these other teams are built. And now you have a Breeze and a Vinyl team going to the semifinals looking like complete teams. Now my question is, are they going to go back and turn into pumpkins, or are they going to keep this momentum, keep this fire going into New York and upset Mist and upset Phantom? I can't do that. Upset the Mist and upset the Phantom. Can they? I'm still planting my flag on the Phantom and the Mist, but it's not going to be easy for them because these are the teams that I think could match up with them well. That have shooting from all positions. They have the bigs to match with the bigs, the guards to match with the guards. Like, this is going to should make for good TV on Monday. And I would like to think that the Phantom and the Mist are coming out of that, but it might not be as cut and dry if they're playing like they did tonight. If they're playing like they did tonight, it's a toss-up. It could be a really close game going forward. But yeah, Phantom versus the Vinyl, and then the Mist versus Breeze. As long as Alicia is not sick and they have a fully healthy team, I think they got it. But if the Breeze are playing like they're playing now and they don't have anybody hurt, or not necessarily hurt because Alicia was she's sick, but that one might get away from them. It might be the Breeze that pull away. Whereas Phantom versus Vinyl, Kelsey gets busy, Aaliyah Boston gets busy, and also locks down De'Erica. Now that takes away some points from you. Ray would have to get busy with this matchup here. But as long as, players level heads prevail and we can keep Tip off the floor and stuff like that, then I think the Vinyl aren't gonna win this game. My biggest X factor for that game and all their games as far as the Vinyl goes is Brittany Griner. And we need to talk about Brittany Griner, because Brittany Griner, I've watched all the games, maybe missed 2. And out of all the true post players, Brittany Griner has low-key, not even low-key, high-key, the best post game. Everybody does your back down, dirt, turnaround fade. Everybody goes to the same trainers, I guess. But nobody has, and then everybody has the back down, turn around pivot, pump fake, hit that pivot one more time, pump fake, step through, or, however many you got to do. Step, pump fake, spin, pump fake, pivot, step through, whatever. It's all the same stuff, Everybody does the same stuff, even the guards, even the forwards. And then you go and look at Dominique Malonga, and you'd think she played like Brittany Griner because of the size advantage, but she doesn't. Whereas Brittany Griner is going to put her shoulder into, and not even, she actually plays the most ethical in my thought process and how I watch her. And she'll put her body in between and give you a little hook shot. She'll give you a fader, but it's different than everybody else's. She'll use her body and her length and her size to her advantage differently than everybody else does. And that is who I think Dominique Malonga needs to look at and say, in order to be successful and begin to terrorize the league, I need to play like that. I need to gain a jump shot, yes, but I need to play like that. People need to fear me on defense, so I need to play like Brittany. Stay vertical, use my length, hands up. I don't have to swing for a block if I can stop the shot, because it's more important to mess with the player's shot, adjust, alter, make people reconsider coming in there versus blocking the shot. The blocking the shot is great, but that's going to give you more situations where you could get into foul trouble. You have a lower chance of getting fouled if you just put your hands up. Now, if you're smaller, you might have to jump, whatever, but when you're bigger, when you're longer, it's better to use your length to try to stop the players. So I don't know, just something I saw. But yeah, Monday should be magic. Saturday for me was tragic. I was out doing stuff and didn't even get to catch the game live as far as the Laces games. You come home, you're just like, who won? What we're going on? Just like, But like I said, can't even be sad because I didn't think we were going that far anyway. But we'll see if my picks of the Phantom in the Mist make it through to the championship. I don't know who's going to win out of that. There is no clear-cut winner to me. But only time will tell, and we will see that on Wednesday. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, reach out to me. Find me on Twitter, Threads, Instagram, TikTok. Here, we can chop it up. I love talking basketball, like I've said before. And we'll see you on the next one.